Coming to this week's, so one not very interested. So which I have already told, right? The schemes, like the victory for the BJP in the 3 states. What are the 3 states? Any idea? Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh. If you see these states, don't think it's a political class or something, politics. If you see these states, they have are they efficient or are they well developed states? Each state has some problems, right? For example, if you take the Madhya Pradesh, water crisis, huge water crisis, and Rajasthan also, right? It's somehow backward. If you see the Chhattisgarh, left wing extremist areas, right? So that is the reason why mostly the picture in these states regarding rural perspective, right? Not something urbanized, something our southern states. For example, take Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu. They have somehow good status, they have good industries, good education levels. So one in this context, in the analysis of this politics, one scheme got changed their domain. So what is that scheme? Any idea? Not Krishi Sinchai Yojana, but targeting districts. Yeah. So that is called Aspirational Districts. Any idea regarding these things? Yeah, okay. So first of all, this is a very important and crucial topic for both pre and mains. Any idea why this could be an important topic? So why the reason I picked this? Any idea? Even assume cheyagalra? Speak out. So it has changed the political landscape, right? First part. So one important, so main important scheme which has changed its political landscape over those states. So why the BJP got that much victorious is one of the main reason is this aspirational districts program or scheme, whatever it may be. Right. So you know, when this scheme has came into the being, 2018, right? So from 2018 to 2023, how many years has passed? Huh? How many years? 5 years. So it is a landmark scheme. It is a landmark scheme. So landmark schemes are landmark based on the landmark case. 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years. These are the landmark years. Mostly UPSC will pick such kind of, that too it got linked with the politics which has changed the landscape. So it become very crucial for this upcoming mains or prelims, whatever it may be, I don't know. So this how it
is important to pre-organize
any particular example. This is the main example. 2018, right? The scheme came into the being. 2018 to 2023 is 5 years. So 5 years is over, right?
Directly go on to the scheme or can they either link anything else?
What? I didn't get you.
Can they directly go on to the scheme or can they either link anything else?
So mostly they go on to the scheme itself. Because, yeah, from the perspective of governance in GS2 of mains. Do you know governance, right? So I'll tell you the scheme. Then you need to think what dimensions they may ask. Mostly they may ask in the part of governance perspective. That is in the GS2 mains. Like they will give a scheme or act to discuss. You need to discuss about that pros and cons of that scheme, and they will ask about the way forward of it. This is the first point. 99% there may be a chance. because based on the PYQs, we analyze the PYQs, right? So based on the PYQs, we will analyze the things. It may come, it's not 100%, but chances are very there. Why? Because it is also supporting this politics also, right? Ultimately, the government itself gives the paper, right? No government will talk against to themselves, right? Whether it is UPSC itself, UPSC is a body of government itself, right? So who is the body leading over here? BJP itself, right? So they need to show something on the paper, or if you see the PYQs also, you will surely get it. So one example for that is, there is a called, when they are planning this parliamentary building, right? Parliament has constructed a recent Central Vista. They have earlier, they tried to get a plan from a temple that is called Chausta Yogini temple. Anybody heard? The temple is called Chausta Yogini temple. There are nearly 4 or 5 temples in India, mostly circular in shape. One temple is rectangular, square in shape in its architecture. So based on that, they have mentioned a small briefing news regarding that thing. This temple is one of the inspiration for the Central Vista. There is an article in the Hindu at the time of 2021. The question was asked from in the point of history based on this art and culture on the Chausta Yogini temple. Got it? How they will link a current event with a history, geography, whatever it may be, they will link. So we need to be aware of it. We need to think in that dimension. So one of the key for it is PYQs. Got it? So we'll discuss about this scheme. So prior to this scheme, do you know the meaning of federalism? Federalism, what it means? What is federalism? Sharing of powers. In a simple terms, it is sharing of powers. How many types of federalisms are there? Any idea? In India? So generally, we'll take an example of GST. What kind of federalism it is? Yeah, exactly. Cooperative federalism. Cooperative federalism means what? States has a role or say. If you see the GST council, states are represented over there, right? Got it? If you see the GST council, the structure of the GST council, states are also part of that council. Got it? So that's the reason why cooperation. If you talk about the finance commission, what it talks? Does any state bodies include in this finance commission? No, right? So it cannot be called as a federalism, even though it looks, if it shares the the taxes which got collected by the central government, it may shares, but states are not part of this. So these type of mains questions they may frame. For example, cooperative, in the light of cooperative federalism, how GST has progressed well. Discuss that kind of questions they may frame. Got it? So coming to here, from the point of another federalism called what? Competitive federalism. What the competitive federalism means? Competition between 1 and 1. Right? 1 and 1 means, example, one state versus other state, or else union versus state, or else district versus state, or district versus district. It's a competition. Why there is a need of competition? Yeah, obviously, if you have a competition with you, they can take some good case studies. For example, some success stories will be there, right? Some scheme which you are implemented in that region, it may got, for example, Raitu Bandhu. You know this? Kaliya scheme. Any idea? Odisha, and this Raitu Bandhu of this Telangana scheme. It got implemented all India wise, right? In the manner of PM Fasal Bima Yojana or something, this one. PM Kisan. Okay, PM Kisan. 6,000 wala. Got it. So same thing. So competition itself, right? That can also be a competitive federalism also. Why I am telling these things? Because they don't directly ask you. So in the scheme of this aspirational districts program, there is an approach called 3 C's approach. Got it? What are the 3 C's? So this is the article which was there in the news. Aspirational districts among India's poorest boost BJP's poll victory. So generally, if people don't know what are these aspirational districts, they generally see it's a BJP poll, they generally leave this topic. So generally poll, right? Poll related, right? You may leave this topic, but one thing you need to know, what are these aspirational districts? So recently, in the recent budget, government has launched another thing called what? Aspirational blocks. Any idea? Idea on that? Yeah, aspirational district is district level. Blocks is lower than that one. It means ultimately it is promoting grassroots level democracy, right? It's a participatory democracy approach, right? So these words are very important when you are writing the mains. For example, aspirational districts, right? You need to start with those things to fulfill the dream of Mahatma Gandhi, who has supported this grassroots level democracy, right? In line with, so those things are very important when you are going to deal with these things. So at present, do you have any idea how many aspirational districts are there in India? At present, there are 115. How many? 115. So 115, earlier the scheme came into the being at 2018, but recently at this point there are 112 districts. It got addition to 115. Got it? So what's the need? So it works on 3C approach. Very, very, very important. They directly don't ask of aspirational district. What is the aspirational district scheme? In the course of our India, recently launched a scheme or recently launched a project based on a convergence, collaboration and competition approach. Discuss. They don't ask that there may be chance. Direct aspiration districts ane adakappovachu. But this is the very key element of this scheme. 3 C's. First one is what? Convergence. Convergence means what? Convergence of which schemes? Central and state schemes. Tell me one scheme. Any example? How could you converge a state and central scheme? Every centrally sponsored scheme is a mix of this, right? Every centrally sponsored scheme is a mix of this, right? State and what is this? Ultimately, if it is centrally sponsored scheme, it should be implemented by whom? State itself, right? So don't division, don't make such kind of divisions. These are these things. So they may ask such kind of statements in the prelims itself. So be aware of those things. So what all centrally sponsored schemes may comes under this one, right? Tell me one example. Jal Jeevan Mission. It's a mission, overall mission, but take this one. Pradhana Mantri Awas Yojana, urban, rural, 2 components. Next one, National Health Mission. Pradhana Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. Any idea? Roads. Right? So these may be a convergence of these schemes. Next one, collaboration. Coming to this collaboration perspective, there are officers called what? What is the name? Prabari officers and district collector. So there is an collaborative effort between these Prabari officer plus district collector. Who is this Prabari officer? He is a secretary or chief secretary, additional secretary, has a rank of IAS officer. They may designate, government may designate for each district and a Prabari officer. He may be a generally IAS designate. He need to get contact with whom? District collector. They need to plan a district wise plan. For example, each district has some important things, right? For example, if you want to, so for this, a value addition to this scheme, recently there is a scheme development of this OD OP. What is this? One district, one product, one village, one product, one station, one product. There is a trend. So you can use these kind of things when you are writing these answers also. These are examples which I am telling here. These are examples which will boost your answers, which will enhance your answers. Got it? So other thing is what? Competition between one another, right? So remember 3 C's. What are the 3 C's? Convergence, collaboration, competition. Very, very important. If you at least if you know these things, you can write easily your mains answer. If you expand these things, you can make it, right, by using your IQ. So next, coming mode of working. States are the main drivers. Program is anchored in by whom? So ultimately this program is designed by whom? Niti Ayog. But coming to this, for example, I'll wait. Next. So these are the areas where a district should work. First one is what? Health and nutrition. Second one, education. Third one, allied. Third one, fourth one, financial inclusion and skill development. Last one, basic infrastructure. When we are going to talking about these things, so you need to remember these things are very, very important themes, thematic areas, in which dimension they are going to work over there, right? First one is what? Health and nutrition, education, agriculture and allied. So each thematic area has a ministry linkage, right? For example, health has a health ministry, education has Ministry of Education. Next one, agriculture ministry. Next one, financial inclusion, Ministry of Skill Development. Last one, infrastructure. Got it? So there are huge success stories where they have excelled. I have taken one case study from UNDP. Do you know UNDP? United Nations Development Program has lauded this, means it has praised this scheme. It has changed the landscape, like the nature of the people. It has increased its economic capabilities and capacities of those people. So UNDP has launched. So when the thing which I am going to say is, you can use this case study as an example for this scheme. It will enhance your answer, right? Nobody will try to write case studies, right? Some success stories. It was mentioned in the UNDP itself. So coming to here, program anchored in the Niti Ayog, individual ministries have been given responsibility to drive progress of the districts. For each district, central, the Prabari officer of the rank of additional secretary, joint secretary has been nominated, which I have already told. But remember, these things are very important. In the prelims, they may ask these themes. So why it is needed? First point, what? For raising the living standards of citizens, ensuring inclusive growth for all. What is this? This slogan is very famous. Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas or Sabka Vishwas. You can start with this. Mains question, if you have mains question is there on the paper, you can directly start with this. This scheme or this thing is in line with to improve the living standards as a logo of this one. To support sustainable development goals at which level? Local level. Very, very, very important. These are innovative points. You can connect, right? SDGs. There are how many SDGs? 17 SDGs. So, is there any SDG linking with these things? Mostly lots of SDGs are getting linked with it. First one is what? No poverty. Second one, zero hunger. Third one, quality education. So, education is linking over here, right? You can mention SDG 3, SDG 1, SDG 2. So, the next point is change the internal security climate of the country. Very, very another important point here. Internal security climate. Why? Example, left wing extremist areas. The scheme is working under this. So, it is creating awareness among them to change their thought process. Right? Internal security, you can use this as an example. You can use this scheme as an example. How to deal with this. And you can use these things. Right. Next one, bottom up. Next one, inter-ministerial coordination. I have already told you, right? Next one, bottom up approach. It means what? Grassroots to top level. Boost up rural standards. Next one, exemplary to the world. If something got very innovative, it can use in the other countries also, right? For example, low level countries, Africa. You can use something, this clicked one, you can use over there, right? So, what are the issues? So, everyone can write these things. What are these? Need things. But issues are very important. So, whatever it may be, when you are writing issues, need or whatever it may be, try to give 1 or 2 points which are very unique in nature. Because if you see today itself mains result has came. You have an idea? Elsa? So unique points are important. You need to be in that top position. Right. So tell me, what is the unique points? Wait. Now tell me what are the issues? Without seeing that, what could be the issues of this scheme? So if before thinking of those things, you have 2 things in your mind. 2 keywords, 2 key things. First one is these thematic areas. Next one is this 3C approach. ఈ రెండు గుర్తున్నాయి అంటే, if you have awareness, then tell me based on these 2 things, tell me the issues, what may be there. Yeah, exactly. There is a problem of interministerial coordination, whatever it may be. Next one. I have given you 2 examples, it's not a hints. Based on those things, try it. Because I can write it. You need to think, right? If something, a scheme like this come, where you will think, ఏదో ఒక పాయింట్స్ దొరకాలి కదా, దాన్ని బేస్ చేసుకుని యూ నీడ్ టు థింక్, రైట్? ఇష్యూస్. ఎవ్రీ స్కీమ్ యూ కెనాట్ స్టడీ, ఎవ్రీ ఇష్యూ యూ కెనాట్ స్టడీ, రైట్? యూ నీడ్ టు థింక్ ఫ్రమ్ దోస్ డైమెన్షన్స్ ఇట్ సెల్ఫ్, విచ్ ఆర్ దేర్ ఆన్ ద పేపర్. సో ట్రై ఇట్. Where it is wrong or right, right? Budgetary allocations. Okay, next. Yeah, less weightage for some sectors, because every state cannot be implemented on this approach, right? Every state has its needs. Every state has its own aspirations. Okay, every state, one state is educationally well, but it may be infrastructurally poor. So yeah, third point, less weightage to this based on these thematic areas. Next one, try it.
Resource management is a problem also.
Yeah, exactly. That is also a problem. Resource management. In this resource management, you can take the HR, that is called human resources. If anybody want to improve the skill set of others, a skilled person should be there, right? One mentor or one guy should be there, right? If he is weak, he cannot reap the targets, right? And this is also one of the point, HR issue, human resources issue, not human rights, human resources issue. Next one.
Poor data collection.
Exactly. Poor data collection. Got it. Nearly 5 issues you got, right? So think in those dimensions. So lesser weightage to the sectors. Next one, lack of fair competition and comparison among the districts. How? How? Based on the indicators itself, right? Indicators are fixed indicators, right? Next one, challenges in the data collection. Next one, misreporting of the data also possible, right? Next one, lack of human resources and the technical capabilities. Low level of collaborations with the other organizations. This is a very important and unique point. Why? Because mostly if you see, some of the developmental initiatives in the left wing extremism or backward regions are done by the NGOs. Do you know? Any idea? NGO supports them. Government obviously fund them. Based on that fund, NGO will work on behalf of the government. Right. So there is a low level of collaboration at the point of other stakeholders. Next one, lack of additional important sectors. There are only restricted sectors. Next one, last one is what? Delta ranking. I forgot to tell you. Delta ranking means they ranks the districts based on these areas. The ranking name is called what? Delta ranking. Okay. So that ranking is also a fault measure in that perspective. So another point of this same thing, it's a value addition to the aspirational districts one. What is this called? Aspirational blocks program was launched on recent one. 500 blocks. How many blocks? From 329 districts across 27 states and 4 UTs. This point is important. If a prelims question frame on a comparison between an aspirational districts and aspirational blocks program, if there is a question on what? A comparison of districts versus blocks. So how many districts are there over there? 115. Where? Aspirational district program. But in the aspirational blocks program, how many? 329. How they can frame a statement from this two things? How they can frame a statement? Ela frame cheyochu. Aspirational blocks program or aspirational blocks districts are inclusive of the aspirational district program, or same as. Is it correct? So they don't mention these digits, but they will try to confuse you. Got it? You may not need to remember of this 329, 330, no need of remembering all those things, but those are not same. Got it? How many states? They are 28. So here 27 states. The program strategy is based on the convergence of same thing. The theme is same thing like that aspirational district program. So this there may be a chance. First delta ranking of this ABP has given. What is the first? Which block has came the first? Tiryani block of Kumaram Bhim Asifabad. They don't ask that much. This will help you in example of your mains answer. Got it? So this is a case study, which was I have taken this from UNDP, not international website. not from the local website, international website. It has mentioned over there. So, do you know this one? Malaria. So, I have already told you, like not regarding this. Which district? Which state it is? Chhattisgarh. Chhattisgarh is affected with what? Left-wing extremism. So there are a lot of schemes. For example, Malaria Mukt Bastar Abhiyan. Next one, Anemia Mukt Bharat. Those are all health related, education related. For example, if you come to the educational level, there are lots of case studies in that article. So one I have picked this one. Education means, tell me the tribal education. Any example? Ekalavya schools. They have done a good number of inventions in the Ekalavya school structure also. So good case studies are there, but no need. One case study is enough for you. This case study also not needed. If you want to score a good marks, case study glimpse is enough. So what this malaria, nothing much. They have improved the status. They have reduced this malaria levels. So overall thing, but you need to mention this scheme, this district's name, and the state itself. It will be it's enough. So Malaria Mukt Bastar Abhiyan is a program implemented by the National Health Mission and covers all the districts of Bastar, Kankar, Kondagaon regions, given that approximately 72% of all malaria cases in the country are diagnosed in the Bastar region. So how many? 72% of all malaria cases in the country are diagnosed in the Bastar region. This large scale project and its successful implementation was mentioned during our interview with the DMs, whatever it may be. So obviously, if you conclusion, decline in the total cases of malaria recorded by the quinquennial phase of testing, malaria incidences in the Bijapur has reported reduced by 71% and 51%. So obviously, there is a reduction in the cases. That's it, no need of that. So coming to the next article. So do you have any doubts regarding the first article? It's a very easy article, but chances are very heavy. Got it? Mount. What is the mount name? Marapi. Where it is? Indonesia. So, you know, right, something regarding the volcanoes. Basically, you have general idea about it, so I'm not going to talking about that. Okay. So we need if you see the PYQs of the prelims, they generally ask some X with a country, some X it may be, whether it is a region, whether it is a disputed, whether it is a lake, whether it is something volcano, whether river, whether etc., whatever it may be, these kinds they may ask, match the following, you know, right? From the match the following perspective, they will ask a question, whether it is from the point of disputed region or something a important region, lake, volcano, river, in which country it resides. You know this one, very easy thing, you can easily put it on the paper. Apart from this, there are other volcanoes recently erupted, right, in this 2023. Do you have any idea? Any other volcano other than this Marapi? Tonga volcano, yeah, okay. Next. Where is the highest volcano in the world? Where is the highest volcano? Fine, we'll see those things. So these type they may ask in the exam. So volcano name is what? Nevados Ojos del Salado. Not salad, chicken salad or something. But remember, if this salad comes, what is it? It is volcano. It is easy to remember, right? Salad, volcano. You can try to make it easy. That's what I'm going to say is make it easy as much as you can. So where it is bordering which country? Chile, Argentina. Last week I have told regarding the Argentina, right? You can also include this one for that. So next one, Lula, Ilaco, of whatever. Lula, Ilaco, Lulu Mall. Okay, it's also volcano. Right, next one, tapas, whatever it means, Argentina. It is also tapas, something like volcano, right? They may don't ask these two things, but there is a chance of this one, salad. So these are the recently erupted volcanoes, which I have picked it from a Smithsonian एक site है. Smithsonian ఒక site ఉంటుంది, అవసరం లేదు మీకు అవన్నీ. అనవసరం మైండ్ పాడు చేసుకుని తప్పితే ఏముండదు ఆ సైట్ విజిట్ చేయడం వల్ల. Unnecessary information, lot of information will be there. No need of those things which are important. That is enough for us. They don't go that much deep also. But it is the site where this regarding international wise, there is some site, right, to deal with these things. So regarding these volcanoes, this is the thing. No need of this thing. They have a like real time analysis of a volcanoes, real time. How much the ash is coming out of it, how much the lava is coming out, what kind of things. You don't need all those things, but these are important. Kilayu, where it is? Hawaii. Remember, there may be, again I am telling, volcanoes are there in the news. This year also, this only, in September or something, this volcano got erupted. September, I think so. 3 to 4 volcanoes got erupted. Kilayu is where? Hawaii. Next one, Marapi, Indonesia. Etna, Italy. Next one, Fuego, Guatemala. So this is also repeated one. Merapi, Indonesia, you know this one, right? Next one, Krakatau, Indonesia. By heart these things, whatever you may, try to by heart these things. Merapi is where? Indonesia. Krakatau is where? Indonesia. Kilayu is where? Hawaii. Etna? Italy. So very, very important, again a map based question. Tell me the bordering countries. Last week I have told you how to do the map or something. Tell me the bordering countries which borders this Indonesia. I'll pick some important things important things are there here. We'll pick those things. No, everything is not needed for us. So tell me the countries. Which borders Indonesia? Malaysia. Again you started with from here, right? See, Malaysia and Indonesia is separated by what? Strait of Malacca. Strait of Malacca is a strait between which areas is Andaman Sea and South China Sea. This is important. This is a very good point. If you see the Pacific Ocean, Indo-Pacific domain, this is the one area where there is an access for this Asian, African countries, from this Chinese to this. You know this, right? Very important point. Strait of Malacca separates what? Andaman Sea and South China Sea. Very important. Got it? So between what? Malaysia and Indonesia. Okay, 2 points. So next one. Singapore, right? Malaysia. Again here. Do you know this one? Any idea? Brunei. ఎప్పుడైనా విన్నారా కంట్రీ పేరు? Anybody heard? What form of government is there? Monarchy. You know, right? There is a king over there still. అంత అడగట్లే కానీ బట్ జస్ట్ రిమెంబర్ దోస్ థింగ్స్. సో నెక్స్ట్ కమింగ్ టు హియర్, సో జావా సి, బాలి సి, ఫ్లోరెస్ సి, యా. సో వాట్ ఈస్ దిస్? Australia. So which sea separates? Timor Sea, right? Which sea? Timor Sea. Do you know Timon and Pumbaa? Anybody know Timon and Pumbaa? Telsa ఎవరికైనా? It's a cartoon program. So, and another important thing is this one. What is this? Equator. So what about Argentina? Last week I have told you. Aim pass అవుతుంది Tropic of Cancer, Capricorn, Equator what? Huh? Is it in the southern part or northern part? Argentina is in southern part lo, northern part lo unda. Southern part means Cancer or Capricorn? Capricorn. India? Cancer. Okay, Indian ఒక స్టాండర్డ్ గా పెట్టుకోండి. దెన్ బేస్డ్ ఆన్ దట్ యూ కెన్ మేక్ ఇట్. ఇఫ్ కన్ఫ్యూజన్ సహజం, there may be a confusion, but remember this passes equator, right? So Strait of Malacca is above the equator or below the equator? Above the equator, right? So if you see here, Java, Sumatra, Bali, and next another island is called what? Borneo. Borneo is a part of what? Indonesia itself. Do you have an idea like Indonesia is going to change its capital? Indonesia has proposed, like it has already okayed, it has going to change its capital. So what is the general capital of Indonesia? Jakarta, right? Where is the Jakarta over here? Where? Any? Here it is, right? So what? Where could be the new capital? Any idea? Yeah, exactly, Borneo. It is something over here. The capital name they have, they are going to name it as Nusantara. Okay, what is the name? Nusantara. So they have planned this one in between the Samarinda and Balikpapan, whatever. This is the area they are going to plan for a new capital. What could be the reason? Climate change, right? So this is the, just go home, just see is there any possibility or nothing. These things, these are volcanic map. So why I have picked this, because where is this Marapi? In Sumatra, right? Where is Marapi? Sumatra. Next one, Krakatau. Where it is? Yeah, near to this Jakarta. See here. See, I also just seeing now. There is a confusion over here. One is Marapi. Marapi is where? Sumatra. Merapi is where? In Java. Which got Marapi or Merapi? Marapi. Both are in Indonesia itself, but where the domain ranges? Java and Sumatra. Sumatra is Marapi or Marapi? Marapi. So another important article. So anybody read this one? Huh? Do you know the story behind this one? Huh? Tell me the story. In 2 to 3 words or 2 to 3 lines, tell me the story of this regarding this ethics and privileges committee. Why this is there in the news?
The exclusion of members is not included in the article question.
That is fine. There should be some origin. What is the main backdrop, why it has came into the limelight? Yeah. So Trinamool Congress MP Mohiya Moitra, she has shared her confidential login and password to some of the members. Why? To raise questions. So that is called what? Cache for query. So very, very important. There is a huge chance of asking again from the point of prelims and mains. So anybody read this article? You read, right? So tell me the article number then. Article number, not this article number, article in the Indian Constitution which got linked with this ethics privileges or something, removal of the members. 101 is there. 101 is regarding what? Normal removal of these members. But there is another thing called privileges. So there is see the things here very important here is committees, parliamentary committees, right? What is the need of parliamentary committees? Why there should be a parliamentary committee? Any committee, whatever it may be, it's whether it is financial wise, whether it is this ethics committee, whatever it may be. Why we need a parliamentary committee? Okay, but tell me something regarding in our UPSC way. Yeah, exactly, accountability. First point is accountability. Do you know Lok Sabha is responsible, Council of Ministers is responsible to the Lok Sabha. How? These committees will show how they are working. You need to mention these kind of things in your answers because it is there in the constitution itself, right? So next one, checks and balance. Do you know the meaning of checks and balance? You don't know? Opposition has raised some issue they need to prove, right? Opposition has raised some issue, something has happening over there. To prove that issue, some committee should be there, right? To deal with those things. An individual MP, I cannot go and say these I have done. They don't work, right? Based on the proofs you can show it, right? As a checks and balance. These committees are very important. You can use these points, whatever the parliamentary committee comes, you can use these 2 points on the paper. So coming to here, there are 2 committees they have mentioned in these things. First one is ethics committee. Next one is privileges committee. Right. Is ethics committee has any statutory backing? Like does it come from any act? No. It is an ad hoc committee. Remember? Gurtupettukondi ivanni. Standing committee evaina sare, but it doesn't came from an act. Got it? That point gurtupettukondi ante. Alane adutaru mari they don't go that much deeper. Whether it emanates from an act or something or that's itself. So coming to this, you know, right? The reason here is she has shared the privilege with her. She has a privilege to being a member of parliament, to do the activity, to conduct session, to talk on behalf of the people. She has breached her privilege. So that's the reason why what's the game over here is whether it should be done from the perspective of ethics committee or it should be done from the perspective of privileges committee. So tell me whether it should be done on the ethics committee or privileges committee. So you have read this one, right? What's the conclusion he has given? He is a former IAS officer, author of Polity Simplified. What is the conclusion he has given? There is a question now. What is the question? Whether we need to refer this case to ethics committee or privilege committee. అనే దానికి దేనికి వాల్యూ ఇస్తారని చెప్పాడు. Like what could be the conclusion he has given over there? Any idea? He has given a conclusion that he has concluded it. He has concluded in something a legal basis. try to establish a court like fast track court. If you see this article, if you see this, wait, is it visible? Is it visible? If you see this, the constitution under article 101 lists down the grounds for vacation of a seat by an MP. It includes voluntary resignation, disqualification and continuous absence from the house of 60 sittings. This is an important thing, right? So from this, expulsion is not explicitly mentioned in the constitution. Then who will deal with it? Ethics committee, does it have any role to expel the people? No. Does privilege committee has? No. Ultimately it should go through whom? Speaker. Ultimately who need to decide it? Speaker need to decide it. So instead of this all the process, what we can say is, if a speaker may be a biased, right? There may be a chance of something like an UK constitution, I think so. He need to be out of that party when he want to become an speaker. But India it's not like that, right? Got it. So there may be a bias. What he has suggested is try to establish something, a court, fast track courts. If something, the sittings, for example, they have given expulsion is greater than 60 sittings or less than in that domain, you need to establish fast track courts and you can do it as soon as possible, because you don't know exactly what that privilege does that privilege has breached or not, right? Till that trial is going on, again it is an undermining the value of the voters, right? If she has done, that's okay, she has accepted. If she didn't done, she need to face the trial, she should not attend the sessions, right? Ultimately the voice of the people who got elected her is subsumed, right? That point you need to remember. Got it. So based on that he mentioned like that, but these with the explanation which I am telling, which will help you for your mains, not from the prelims perspective. That's there is again a case also filed for this one. Yeah, that's a contradictory in nature. I also found it's there in here. I also found the same thing. It's contradictory in nature. That is the reason why they are going for the judiciary, this regarding this thing. Yeah, again that's an old judgment, right? Again it's a new judgment is something, where is this judgment? 2010 and 2007, Rampal versus, this one, Rampal versus Honorable Speaker. Next one is what? Amrinder Singh versus Special Committee. Actually logically speaking they should accept, logically speaking, but they have not mentioned, because Supreme Court is dynamic in nature, right? So there is also case, the case is regarding these things also there in the progress, the case not got published. I have also seen this, I have also searched this for this also, but I didn't get any super information regarding this, so I just left it. So instead of Burra Badings, no need of this. You can also file under the RP Act 1951 also. So that is the reason why he has suggested that if we want to, if something, any breach he has done, if it is under the RP Act 1951, it could be a legal offence also. Then you can, based on the Evidence Act, you can go to the court. So this is an not understanding for them also, whether it should go through the process of ethics committee or the privileges committee. So they need to balance it. Got it? So coming to this ethics committee, constituted the ethics committee. First of all, important point, remember this point, very important point. First ethics committee akkada vachindi, Lok Sabha na Rajya Sabha lona? Remember, very very important. Ethics committee, where it has came, first one Rajya Sabha, not in the Lok Sabha. So first one is this point. Next one, the constituted ad hoc committee in the 2000 became a permanent part of the house in when? Only in 2015. We are talking about the Lok Sabha, about from here. Ethics committee in the Lok Sabha has how many members? 15 members. Rajya Sabha has 10 members. Members of the ethics committee are appointed by the speaker for a period of 1 year. These are important for your prelims. Mostly committees are appointed for 1 year. If you see 90% committees there, right, are appointed for 1 year itself. So functions of the Lok Sabha Ethics Committee. It oversees the moral and ethical conduct of the members. It prepares a code of conduct. So this could be an important for your ethics. GS4 code of conduct అనేది ఉందా? Mentioning of code of conduct అనే syllabus ఉందా? Syllabus is there, right, in your ethics GS4. So this ethics committee, these kind of question, ఎందుకు ఇది పిక్ చేసుకున్నానంటే it's there in the news, not in this one last week also there in the news, but I've voluntarily picked this week because it's nearly getting ended. So I've also planned to take the COP28 also, but it's still continuing. Okay, so maybe after the completion I'll take overall glimpse of this COP28 with some introduction regarding these things. So no worries. So remember, this also important for ethics also. They may frame case study based question also from this thing. Got it? So it examines every complaint relating to the unethical conduct of member of Lok Sabha referred to it by the speaker and make such recommendations as it may deem fit. Uphold the principle of what? Transparency and clarity and consistency. How can complaint happen? Ela complaint cheyochu. First one is what? Initiated by another Lok Sabha MP only. The word is very, very important. You have seen earlier in the elimination techniques, only if only comes, the answer is wrong or something. You may heard somewhere, right? So this is a very important, unique thing. It should be done by whom? Another Lok Sabha MP only. There is another provision, see here. However, any person other than MP can complain against Lok Sabha MP, but this complaint can be submitted by a Lok Sabha MP. If I have an issue, she has done something or something, I need to consult you. You are MP, right? No? So think you are an MP. So I need to give the evidence, the affidavits, all the things. Then I can give you, you can file in the Lok Sabha. So the committee represents its reports to the speaker who asks the house of the report should be taken for consideration. There is also a provision for a half-hour discussion. ఇది కూడా జరిగే ఛాన్స్ ఉంటుంది. So how the question can frame? I have underlined 3 to 2 important points over here. If they want to frame a prelims question, how they can frame? Ethics. For example, any breach of privileges or any misconduct can be filed by any member other than Lok Sabha MP. Is it correct? Any member can file a case, or only Lok Sabha MP can talk about it, initiate it, but Lok Sabha MP can initiate it in the house. Remember, first point. Next point is what? There is no provision for half an hour discussion in this thing. Is there a provision or not? There is a provision. Next point is what? Who is the final authority of this one? Whose decision is the final? Speaker decision. Is there any time frame over here? Did I mention any time frame over here? No. So no. Got it? These things adite ilanti adugutaru, inkem adagadu. If you see the PYQs also, polity may look simple, but it is very complicated. So I've already talked about this one, Article 101. Another thing, very, very important one, parliamentary privileges, right? So there are two types. One is individual, next one is collective. Under the guidance of which article? Article 105, right? Article 105. Don't confuse with Article 101 and 105. Very important. I think 2014, 2015, there is a straight question on the parliamentary privileges in mains. So there may be a repetition also because it is there in the news, right? Got it? So Article 105, there shall be a freedom of, very, very important, beautiful words as framed. there shall be freedom of speech in parliament. No member of the parliament shall be liable to any proceedings in any court in respect of anything said or any vote given by him in parliament or any committee thereof. It means what? He can speak anything he wants, but it cannot go to the court. There is no need of court interference. Ultimately, this 105 shows what? Separation of powers. Alagay adige question untadi, chance untadi. Which of the following article has given a power like separation of powers? Got it? So next one, Article 122. The validity of any proceedings in the parliament shall not be called in question in any court on the ground any alleged irregularity or the procedure. Same thing. Article 122 and Article 105. So which these has mentioned, right? These things are there, right? Does it ultimately bans this guy, Supreme Court? Ultimately ban చేయొచ్చా? 100% court ఉండదా దీనిలో ఇక్కడ? Court role, what about the court role? There may be, right? Under the process of judicial review, under the process of what you can say, to do the complete justice, they can take anything. If they want to make, they will make it. Generally, they don't interfere, 99%. So 1% there is a chance. Got it? So that is the reason why we have seen that earlier cases, right? We have seen that cases itself, right? Supreme Court dictated, right, to do like this one. Got it? So directly you cannot get such things, you need to interpret the things. So what are the individual privileges? Very, very, very important. You need to by heart these as much as possible, because it is there in the your famous book. What is that? Lakshmikant. So individual privileges, members cannot be, remember, this is a civil based arrest. This arrest regarding what? If he has done civil crimes, civil related, not criminals. Criminal cases, civil cases, you know difference, right? So these are for civil. So they may, how they make frame a statement is, member cannot be arrested during the session of the parliament, whether civil or criminal. It should be only civil in nature. Got it? Session of parliament 40 days. Remember this, 40 days before the beginning of the session. 40, session 40. Next one, arrest. Civil yes, criminal no. Make it easy, that's what I am saying. Members have freedom of speech in the parliament and no member is liable to proceedings in the any court. It supports what? Article 101, right? Cheyiru. Criminal cases ki chestaru. Ade you have killed someone, వచ్చి పార్లమెంట్లో ఇలా బ్లడ్ పూసుకుంటా ఉన్నాం. సో దే ఆర్ ఎగ్జెంప్టెడ్ ఫ్రమ్ జ్యూరీ సర్వీస్. సేమ్ థింగ్, క్వశ్చనరీ ఉంటుంది అనమాట. వెన్ పార్లమెంట్ ఈజ్ ఇన్ సెషన్. కలెక్టివ్ ప్రివిలేజ్, రైట్ టు పబ్లిష్ ఇట్స్ రిపోర్ట్స్, డిబేట్స్ అండ్ proceedings. Right to exclude what? Strangers from its proceedings. Right to make rules to regulate its own procedure. Right to punish members as well as outsiders for breach of its privileges. The courts prohibited inquiring into the proceedings of the house. No person shall be arrested without permission of, very, very important, who? Presiding officer. So the topic which we got started, right, the article, it is mostly regarding this breach of privilege. That is the reason why privilege committee came into the being. వాళ్ళకి ఇచ్చిన ప్రివిలేజెస్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో, they have breached it. It means sharing the confidential information with the other guy other than a member of Lok Sabha. So breach of privileges in the Indian Parliament refers to the violation of the rights and immunities of the Parliament or its members. Breach of privilege can include impeding the work of the Parliament, obstructing a member from carrying out their duty. So this is the case, right? Disclosing confidential information discussed in the Parliament without authorization. This is the thing, right? From where the origin of it? Breach of the privilege. So that is the reason why they are saying that even though she has an unethical behavior, you need to give to the privileges committee, because it is a breach of privilege. Got it? Breach of privileges are considered as a serious offence and can result in a disciplinary action taken against the offending members of the members. So very important thing. There is a comparison I tried to frame: ethics committee versus privilege committee. Nature of issues: while the ethics committee focuses on ethical conduct of MPs, the privileges committee deals with breach of parliamentary privileges. It means that ethical conduct can be like anything, right? Anything. But parliamentary privileges are only this individual and what are this? Collective, right? So if that breach over there, then it is done by whom? Whom? Privileges committee. Got it? So next one, cases. The ethics committee can take up only cases of misconduct that involves the MPs. The privileged committees can get a non-MP also for actions that attack the authority and dignity of the house. You have seen here, right? What is this? Right to punish members as well as outrage for the breach of its privileges. See this one, right? This is also same thing, right? Non-MP అంటే ఎవడైనా కావచ్చు కదా, right? So only MP is mentioned in where? Ethics committee, right? Got it? A difference ఈ points అర్థం చేసుకోండి. ఇలాంటివే they will tweak you in prelims. They don't do much efforts. They just change the word sentences. Just go home and see today PYQ prelims questions. Just see, you'll come to know. So scope of the inquiry: the ethics committee looks into the broader range of ethical issues, including the interests of financial impropriety, whereas privilege committee specifically addresses related to the parliamentary privileges. Confidentiality: the ethics committee may operate with a degree of confidentiality during its investigation, while the privilege committee deals with the matters that often have a more public and legal character. Outcome: the ethics committee makes recommendations on disciplinary actions or corrective measures based on ethical consideration, while the privileges committee recommendations may involve actions to protect the rights and privileges of the parliament and its members. So this is a PYQ 2014 mains. So what is it? Anybody read out? How can this problem can be addressed? You know, and one important point I forget to tell you: parliamentary privileges are not codified. Okay, the word is what? Parliamentary privileges are not codified. It means the parliamentary privileges only restricting to the article 105. Parliamentary privileges are dealt by what? Conventions. Conventions అంటే తెలుసా? Do you know what the conventions? Not this United Conventions, not those things. అంటే ఎప్పటి నుంచో ఆనవాయితీగా వస్తున్నాయి అంటారు చూసారా? We generally follow from since the British, right? So they generally follow it, right? These kind of things. So conventions is a one source for this parliamentary privileges. Article 105 is one source for this parliamentary privileges. Next one is what? Any idea? What could be the source of it? Rules of house. Next one, business procedure of the house. These are the things where these privileges will come. So there is no codified, it means exact single code అనేది లేదు. Parliamentary privilege దీనిలో నుంచే వస్తుంది అనేది. So that's what was mentioned over the here is the same thing. The constitution leave room for a large number of uncodified. So they need a codification. For that codification, what you need to know, the basic core here, individual privileges ఏంటి, collective privileges ఏంటి exact గా తెలిస్తేనే, if you know these things only, then you can able to answer this question. For example, 40 days session, 40 days gap, session gap 40 days. So what is the basis for it? అది ఫ్రేమ్ చేసేటప్పుడు ఏదో బేస్ ఉంటుంది కదా. ఓకే, I am telling, see, assess the reasons for the absence of legal codification of the parliament. How can this problem can be solved? That is one of the problem, right? You don't know. 40 days session gap, 40 days. And next one is what? No court interference. If something is, for example, whole Lok Sabha is itself dominated by a single party. For example, 90%. Even 90% is there. 10% are minority over there. Does court really ban? Like court అనేది కంప్లీట్గా బ్యాన్ అవసరం ఉంది ఆ టైంలో లేదు కదా. They need an amendment for it also, right? If it ultra violates the constitutional norms. Got it? What I am saying. సో ఎప్పుడైనా సరే ఎక్కువ కాంప్లెక్స్గా మీరు అంత ఆలోచించాల్సిన నీడ్ ఉండదు. ద బేసిక్ కంటెంట్ విచ్ ఈస్ దేర్ ఇన్ దట్ ఆర్టికల్, నాట్ ఆర్టికల్ అని కాకపోయినా సరే ఏదైనా ఒక బేసిక్ థింగ్స్ ఉంటాయి. దట్స్ ద రీజన్ వై యూ నీడ్ టు ఫోకస్ ఆన్ యువర్ బేసిక్స్. ఇండివిజువల్ కలెక్టివ్ ప్రివిలేజ్ కరెక్ట్గా తెలిస్తే ఒక్కొక్క దాన్ని మీరు నెగిటివ్ సెంటెన్స్గా మార్చి రాస్తే అయిపోతుంది ఆన్సర్. See, I'll show you. That's what I'm saying. There is no interference of court. No. Why court will interfere? You can file it. That's the reason. You can file a defamation case. It is beyond this thing, right? ఈ పార్లమెంట్ పర్స్పెక్టివ్ నుంచి ఫ్రేమ్ చేయలేవు, కానీ నువ్వు అన్నాడని చెప్పి ఫ్రేమ్ చేయొచ్చు డిఫమేషన్ కేసులో. Got it? That's the reason. There are so many drawbacks in that one. So where is this? So these are the some privileges based on this. దీన్ని నెగిటివ్ సెంటెన్స్లో మార్చి రాస్తే అంటే మీన్స్ టర్న్ చేసి రాస్తే దీస్ ఆర్ ద ఇష్యూస్ ఓన్లీ, రైట్? ఫ్లిప్ చేసి రాస్తే అవే ఇష్యూసే కదా. ఈ 40 days 40 అనేది ఎక్కడ ఉంది? వాట్ ఈస్ ద రీజన్ ఫర్ ఇట్? You may reduce it, right? You may firstly reduce it. Why? Because if you see the parliament track record, every year the sessions getting decreased. The hours which hours of discussion are getting decreased. If you are making these 40 days things, right, they may not happen, right? So one point. Next one is what? Members have freedom of speech. Freedom of speech also has some reasonable restrictions, right? According to the article 19, freedom of speech. You need to mention అలాంటి ఇటు తిప్పి రాయటం అంతే ఆన్సర్ అయిపోతుంది. If you don't know the manner what I am saying, the way you need to approach the answer, if you don't know also, if you have a strong foundation in these things, you can easily tell it. So again, it was not codified. It was dependent on all those things, business rules of house, వాటిని బేస్ చేసుకొని ఉన్నాయి కదా. Got it? సో అలా కోడిఫై లేకపోవడం, సింగిల్ కోడ్ లేకపోవడం కూడా దట్ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో అన్ ఎక్స్ట్రా బర్డన్, రైట్? Fine. So I'll take 5 minutes regarding this thing. Chardham project did not need EIA. EIA, any idea? Environmental impact assessment. Why you need an environmental impact assessment? Whether it is impacting the both social and environmental perspectives, whether it is impacting or not. So EIA comes from which act? Which act supports this? Environmental Protection Act 1986. So recently 2020 there is a draft has came into the being. Earlier it has came something in 2000s, but recently there is a draft 2020, but it got expired, it got rejected because heavy centralizing powers are there in the draft EIA 2020. There is no need of reading that draft, but it got expired. But 2006 is the last guidelines you need to remember. Got EIA, Environmental Impact Assessment. So in this Environmental Impact Assessment, there are prior to this assessment, there are some 4 stages. According to this one, there are 4 stages: screening, scoping, and other 2 are there. Screening, I'll tell. Screening, scoping, and they have divided the projects based on the category A and category B. Category A requires national clearance that this project should be environmentally sustainable. Next one, category B needs, in the category B also B1, B2 are there. So one needs an environmental clearance, EIA report should be there, one no need of it. So coming to this project, what this art, why they have mentioned not needed? Any idea? It's a infrastructure project only, right? It will impacting that ecological domain, right? But what they are saying is, in this article, what they are saying is, we are constructing not in a single stretch. For example, they have mentioned here 100 kilometers. So we are not constructing this Chardham project, something same 100 kilometers, we are not constructing it. So we have a breakage, 80 kilometers, 20 kilometers, so rest is not part of it. They have changed that. అంటే అలాగ మార్చి చెప్తున్నారు, but it's need, right? So they have used that loopholes in those things only, right? So అవన్నీ మనకు అవసరం లేదు. But what the question may frame is regarding this EIA, whether which ministry supports it? Ministry of Environment. So environmental impact assessment, it is a tool used to identify the environmental impact assessment in India is statutorily backed by this act. Remember, this is very important. EIA is a part of participatory justice which gives voice to the voiceless. You can start with this. So category A, national level appraisal. Projects are agency and the expert appraisal committee. Category B, state level appraisal. State level environmental impact assessment authority and state level expert authorities provides clearance. So ultimately it is for what? Two categories for the clearance certificate. Yeah, you can do with this project. So 4 stages. What are the stages? Screening, scoping, public hearing, appraisal. Earlier there are a lot of things. Recently they got ease with these things. So screening refers to the, nothing much, I will tell you in the brief. First, in the screening, they will make some scrutiny. Scrutiny means whether this project is good or not, whether this project is viable or not. It's a basic thing. If you are going to start a new business or something, you need to look over, right, whether it will work or not, what are the pros and what are the cons. They have a basic information, they will get a basic information. That is called what? Screening. Whether how. Next comes for the scoping. So what is scoping? What are the overall effects? Environmental effects, financial effects, the social effects. It affects on the natural resources and wildlife animals. These are all things. If this is said in the screening stage, yes, it is getting impacted. It is somehow there is an impact. Then again the stage of what? Scoping. At this stage, they will have some detailed things. They will prepare a report. Then next what? Public consultation. A classic example is Niyamgiri Hills case. It's a classic example. Niyamgiri Hills case in the Odisha. They have rejected the mining project. The tribals has rejected the mining project. Who have rejected? Gram Sabha of that Niyamgiri Hills. So public consultation stage means after the screening and scoping, they will put the information in front of the Gram Sabha to make it a correct. Yes, you are okay with it. These are the things you want, the displacement things, this may happen, all those things they may put. Okay. So next, public consultation stage. At this stage, they will consult. If the Gram Sabha is no, again the project got stopped. One example is Niyamgiri Hill case. So next one, appraisal stage. It is a final stage. Every details will be there in this appraisal stage. Then after this consultation, if it is okay, then they will do a final thing. Final makeovers. What are the things? What are the balances? If there any rehabilitation is there, how much rehabilitation should happen? This much of cusecs of water should be diverted that one. If they are going to dam construction. So there are no need for us, all those things. But remember, screening what, scoping what, public consultation what, appraisal what. Finally, they will get an environmental clearance. So category A projects requires mandatory environmental clearance and thus they do not have undergo screening process. So screening process ante enti? Yes or no telusukodaniki ante kada. But category A projects, it requires a EIA. There is no need of screening process. Next one, category projects undergoes a screening process and are further classified into B1, mandatory requiring, B2 not requiring. Remember, this is very important, category and category B. So projects with the mandatory clearance are what? Projects such as mining, thermal power plants, river valley, infrastructure, road is the one example, like Chardham project is a road itself, right? Harbors and airports and industries including very small electroplating or foundry units are mandated to get the environmental clearance. So next this one, your famous, where I missed, I think so, Garba night. You know this thing, right? Garba dance. Any idea? Which state? Gujarat, right? Who has given this status? UNESCO, right? UNESCO. Which list? Intangible heritages. Do you know how many intangible heritages are there in India? Yeah, 15. What are those 15? Those 15 are very important. By heart them. What I am going to say, I have mentioned a difference between this Garba and the Dandiya. Dandiya, you know it? So Dandiya is something, a version of Garba only. But some sticks are used in the Dandiya. But in Garba, hands movement. Something, you know that. We don't know, but go see this one. It's a very easy thing. So remember, these UNESCO Intangible World Heritage List. So what are the things are there? Oral traditions, performing arts, special practices, social practices, rituals and festival events, knowledge and practice concerning natural and universe. Next one, traditional craftsmanship. These are the important things. So based on this, they have given. So in India, which ministry supports this one? Ministry of Culture appointed who? Sangeet Natak Academy as an autonomous organization under the Ministry of Culture as a nodal officer for mattering related to the intangible cultural heritage sites. Got it? Who? Sangeet Natak Academy. So these are the things. I think this question has given in the PYQ. Which of the following are intangible World Heritage Intangible List? So this has given, I think 2014-15 at that time the question is there. But remember, for sure these are important for your next prelims. For sure important, because the last one is when 2021. Now Garba of Gujarat has came into the being. So just go through this dance, what kind of dance, whether only males or females are participated, males or females, only males are participated, which state, got it?